In a stunning shakeup, President Trump has purged the National Security Council, firing senior officials just hours after a secretive White House meeting. At the center of it all, conservative firebrand Laura Loomer, whose explosive dossier accused top aides of disloyalty to Trump's America First agenda. Was this a calculated cleansing or a spark igniting chaos? We uncover the power plays, the fallout, and the woman who lit the fuse. On April 2nd, 2025, Laura Loomer, a prominent American conservative investigative journalist, met with President Trump in the White House Oval Office for approximately 30 minutes. According to multiple reports, during the meeting, Loomer presented Trump with a dossier accusing several National Security Council (NSC) officials of insufficient loyalty to his America First policies. She specifically singled out individuals she labeled as neoconservatives or not MAGA enough, including Alex Wong, the Chief Deputy to National Security Advisor Mike Waltz. Waltz, who was present at the meeting, reportedly attempted to defend some of his subordinates, but was evidently unable to prevent subsequent actions. Within 24 hours of the meeting, at least 3 senior NSC officials were fired: Intelligence Director Brian Walsh, Senior Director for Legislative Affairs Thomas Boudry, and Senior Director for Technology and National Security David Feith. Reports suggest that in the following days, additional lower-level officials were also dismissed, with the total potentially reaching 6 or more. Loomer hinted on X that she had reported these disloyal officials to Trump, framing it as the basis for their terminations. She specifically claimed that General Timothy D. Hoff, head of the U.S. Cyber Command and the National Security Agency, NSA, and his deputy Wendy Noble were sacked for being disloyal to Trump. On April 3rd, while boarding Air Force One en route to Florida, Trump addressed reporters about the meeting, stating,
Also, Laura Loomer is a very good patriot. She is a very strong person. And I saw her yesterday for a little while. She makes recommendations of things and people. And sometimes I listen to those recommendations.
He acknowledged that Loomer had suggested personnel changes, but denied that she directly triggered the firings, saying he listens to everyone's advice and then makes decisions. However, according to several sources familiar with the matter, the dismissals were directly tied to Loomer's meeting and the investigative findings she provided. The National Security Agency, NSA, one of the most secretive and critical intelligence agencies in the U.S. government, is headquartered in Fort Meade, Maryland, and was established on November 4, 1952. Its core mission is to safeguard national security through signals intelligence, SIGINT, and information assurance. A vital component of the U.S. intelligence apparatus, the NSA is also the world's largest electronic surveillance and cryptographic organization, often nicknamed the Puzzle Palace. The NSA's existence was long shrouded in secrecy, only becoming widely known to the public in the 1970s. Though its budget and operational details remain classified, estimates suggest it employs between 30,000 and 40,000 military and civilian personnel, with an annual budget ranging from $10 billion to $15 billion. Its technical capabilities span global communications interception, data analysis, and cybersecurity, making it a cornerstone of U.S. intelligence and cyber warfare efforts. The NSA's responsibilities are divided into 2 main areas: SIGINT and Information Assurance, IA, and it works closely with U.S. Cyber Command on cyber warfare tasks. As an intelligence agency under the Department of Defense, DoD, the NSA reports directly to the Secretary of Defense. While part of the DoD, its operations are deeply integrated with the broader intelligence community, IC, which includes 17 agencies such as the CIA and FBI. The NSA director simultaneously serves as the commander of U.S. Cyber Command and head of the Central Security Service, CSS, a structure designed to unify signals intelligence and cyber operations. Compared to the CIA, which focuses on human intelligence, HUMINT, the NSA specializes in SIGINT, though the 2 agencies often collaborate. Through the CSS, the NSA coordinates cryptographic and signals intelligence activities across military branches, Army, Navy, Air Force, etc., ensuring seamless military intelligence integration. The NSA director is typically nominated by the sitting president. Candidates are almost always senior military officers due to the dual role overseeing Cyber Command, requiring a military background. The nomination, recommended by the Secretary of Defense, is submitted to the Senate, reviewed by the Senate Armed Services Committee in a confirmation hearing, and then voted on by the full Senate. The dismissed Timothy D. Hoff, an Air Force Lieutenant General, was nominated by President Biden in May 2023 to serve as NSA Director and Cyber Command Commander. His nomination was confirmed by the Senate in December 2023, and he officially succeeded General Paul Nakasone in February 2024. With 30 years of service in the Air Force, Hoff brought extensive experience in intelligence and cyber operations. However, Loomer clearly held a different view. In an X post, she wrote, "As a Biden appointee, General Hoff had no place serving in the Trump admin given the fact that he was hand-picked by General Milley, who was accused of committing treason by President Trump. Why would we want an NSA director who was referred to Biden after being hand-selected by Milley, who told China he would side with them over Trump?" Loomer further stated, "Given the fact that the NSA is arguably the most powerful intel agency in the world, we cannot allow for a Biden nominee to hold that position." She also accused Hoff's deputy, Wendy Noble, of being a protege of Trump critic James Clapper, whom Trump had previously accused of spying on his campaign. Clapper, in turn, had blamed Russia for stealing the election to help Trump win. Noble, during her tenure at the NSA, was also said to have aggressively promoted diversity, equity, and inclusion (DEI) policies. Democrats sharply criticized Loomer's influence in Trump's decisions. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer publicly remarked,
"Laura Loomer is one of the most extreme MAGA conspiracy theorists there is. She says that 9/11, January 6th was an inside job."
Repichao. Adam Schiff labeled Loomer an internet troll for targeting individuals she deemed disloyal to Trump and his administration. In an intriguing twist, when confronted by Senate Intelligence Committee member Senator Michael Bennet, DCO, Loomer countered by exposing Bennett's ties to Judge James E. Boasberg. She noted that Bennet is a lifelong friend of the judge's brother, Tom Boasberg. Judge Boasberg recently threatened to hold Trump administration officials in contempt for failing to provide flight information related to the deportation of illegal immigrants tied to the notorious Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua. Amid the Trump administration's efforts to deport Friday, April 6, 2025 efforts to deport these terrorist gang members, Boasberg's handling of the case has drawn widespread scrutiny, particularly given his family's ties to pro-immigration causes. His daughter, Catherine Boasberg, works for Partners for Justice, a radical left-wing nonprofit known for advocating on behalf of illegal immigrants. Additionally, his brother Tom Boasberg, a former superintendent of Denver Public Schools, has admitted to employing undocumented immigrants as teachers, a practice that raises further conflict of interest concerns given Tren de Aragua's growing presence as a threat in Colorado schools. Evidence also shows that Senator Bennet, a Colorado Democrat, is a lifelong friend of the Boasberg family through Tom Boasberg, who served as his deputy when Bennet was superintendent of Denver Public Schools. Moreover, Bennet has supported hiring illegal immigrants to teach in Colorado's public school system. Loomer branded Bennet a corrupt politician who not only uses his authority to obstruct the Trump administration, but also conceals significant conflicts of interest. Neither the Democratic Party nor Bennet has responded to her allegations. On April 5th, as a veteran investigative journalist, Loomer reported from the scene of a massive anti-Trump protest in Washington, D.C. dock, where she identified jihadist Linda Sarsour among the crowd. Sarsour, who once publicly called for a jihad against Trump, attended the event alongside protesters waving Hamas flags. Her mentor, Siraj Wahhaj, is a suspected co-conspirator in the 1993 World Trade Center bombing, and she is backed by the Muslim Brotherhood, which is funding the Palestinian movement in the U.S. The nationwide protest, dubbed the People's Veto Hands Off, was organized by the 5501 movement, which transported demonstrators into Washington, D.C. on luxury buses that reportedly allowed alcohol consumption. According to the protest website, the invitation openly encouraged participants to get drunk on the buses before hitting the streets. The 5501 movement, a grassroots political action group formed in late 2024 or early 2025, aims to counter Donald Trump's second-term policies. Its name, 5501, stands for 50 Protests, 50 States, One Movement, reflecting its initial goal of coordinating simultaneous protests across all 50 states in a single day. The group has staged multiple nationwide demonstrations, including a large protest on February 5, 2025, which reportedly drew 72,000 participants across 67 events in 40 states, as well as rallies on February 17th, Not My President's Day, and March 4th. The April 5th protest in Washington was among its largest to date. Loomer alleges the 5501 movement is linked to Act Blue, a Democratic fundraising platform long associated with progressive causes and candidates. Meanwhile, the Soros-funded group Indivisible has openly acknowledged orchestrating 1,300 paid protests across all 50 states on April 5th. The billionaire Democrat donor is bankrolling these efforts. The presence of numerous luxury buses at the protest site suggests either exaggerated promotion or significant financial backing beyond typical grassroots means. Allowing alcohol on the buses adds complexity. Compliance with local laws, e.g. D.C.'s open container restrictions, likely required specially permitted private charters, hinting at substantial premeditated funding. The public question remains, which wealthy benefactor is footing the bill for such a large-scale operation? One commenter on X remarked, "This isn't a grassroots protest, it's a paid-for political circus. They're not marching for the people, they're marching for donor dollars and Democrat power grabs." Notably, one of the buses, registered in Massachusetts under the name Summer Bus Tour Inc., lists a Chinese individual, Yuxiu Wang, as its registered agent. This has sparked speculation of Chinese involvement collaborating with radical Muslims at the Capitol Hill demonstration, supporting socialism, Hamas, and the so-called anti-fascist movement. We will continue to monitor developments related to these events. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time.